the biggest factor on why cost of insurance would go up was smoking. You remember this? If somebody was a smoker, you could be paying $60 for cost of insurance. It goes $120. That was the biggest differentiator.
That's right.
Then when you would look at the next one, maybe it was the level of alcohol consumption, because you would be like, well, how often do you drink? Well, I drink, once a month. Okay, really? And then we would do the blood work. No, you drink
You got fatty liver disease.
It's a different test that comes up. And it was your occupation, right? Or your weight. Weight would typically be number 3 on how much you weighed. It was always the warrior weight. But weight wasn't above smoking. So it was smoking, alcohol, weight, and an occupation. If you had a job that was kind of risky, that would increase your cost of insurance. Why was smoking, then alcohol, then, your weight? Why was smoking above it all?
Because few smokers ever quit, right? It wasn't the presence of the nicotine. It was all the carriers with the nicotine, right? The tar.
Few smokers ever quit. Wow.
Way few smokers than you can ever imagine ever quit.
Interesting.
And if you think about what smoking is, nicotine addiction, these are, and you just convert it to human physiology. The absence of dopamine is the presence of addiction. So in other words, if you are deficient in dopamine, you will engage in dopamine-seeking behavior. That's why if you've ever been an addict or you've ever known a true addict, their addiction has a tendency to shift. So, alcoholics become drug addicts become workoutaholics might become workaholics. They might shift into a healthier addiction, but the addiction never really goes away because the dopamine deficiency is the main driver of behavior. Dopamine is the neurotransmitter of behavior, like serotonin is the neurotransmitter of mood. So we treat physical addiction. We try to treat the nicotine, the Suboxone, the alcohol, the narcotic. We don't treat the dopamine addiction. And this is why a true addict will go through life shifting their addictions. And so when we get back to human physiology, we go, well, what causes deficiencies in dopamine, right? This is what really led me to leave and start a wellness franchise, because I'm like, we have this all wrong. This person doesn't have ADD or ADHD or OCD. This person actually isn't suffering from anxiety. There's no situation that causes their anxiety. This anxiety comes and goes seemingly without a trigger. So how could that actually be anxiety if there's nothing in their external environment that's causing it?
Right.
Well, you start to break down, well, what is anxiety? Anxiety is a rise in a category of neurotransmitters in the brain called catecholamines. So this person has a catecholamine regulation issue, not the mental disease or the mental disorder of anxiety. Well, how do we regulate catecholamines? We increase the complex of B vitamins. We add something called methylcobalamin. We remove folic acid, which is a synthetic man-made chemical in our food supply, which is not found naturally in nature anywhere on the surface of the earth. And we exchange it for something called methylfolate. Bang. Now they regulate catecholamines. When they regulate catecholamines, the anxiety goes away. You've actually been treating for a disease that was actually a nutrient deficiency, just like you were being treated for rheumatoid when you had a D3 deficiency. Just like we put people on thyroid medication when 80% of the thyroid hormone that we measure in the blood, the T3 hormone, is not even made in the thyroid. It's made outside of the thyroid, in the liver, in the gut, and the periphery. Why are we not looking at whether or not the liver, the gut, and the periphery have adequate nutrients to make the thyroid hormone that is low, that is causing us to medicate the thyroid? 85% of all hypertensive diagnosis, when you go into your doctor and they say you have hypertension, and you say, well, why? Well, my EKG is normal. My EEG is normal. My heart sounds are normal. My lung sounds are normal. I had a cardiac catheterization. It was normal. I had a dye contrast study. It was normal. There's nothing wrong with my heart. Yeah, we know, but we're still going to medicate your heart anyway. Even though we can't figure out anything wrong with it, we don't know why you have high blood pressure. Oh, what we looked, and your uncle has it, and your mother has it on, your grandmother has it on your dad's side. So you have familial hypertension. Well, what's that? It's genetically inherited hypertension. And then you just accept that. You inherited a disease from your ancestor, so you accept and subscribe to a lifetime of medication. But if you just took that one step further and said, just out of curiosity, what gene did my ancestor pass on to me that's causing this condition to exist? Because you said I inherited it from my ancestor, right? So what gene did they pass on to me? Their face would go blank. You see, we've mapped the entire human genome. We know every gene in the human body. If there were a gene for these conditions, we would know what it is. But there's no gene for a lot of these diseases. Because the disease runs in families, we assume it's a genetically inherited disease. We rarely pass disease from generation to generation. we pass the inability for the body to refine a raw material, which causes a deficiency, which leads to that disease. This deficiency can be fixed.
Nowadays, more than ever, the brand you wear reflects and represents who you are. So for us, if you wear a Future Looks Bright hat or a Valuetainment gear, you're telling the world, I'm optimistic. I'm excited about what's going to be happening, but you're a free thinker. You question things. You like debate. And by the way, last year, 120,000 people got a piece of Future Looks Bright gear with Valuetainment. We have so many new things. The cufflinks are here. New Future Looks Bright. This is my favorite, the green one. Just yesterday, somebody placed an order for 100 of these. If you watch the PBD podcast, you got a bunch to choose from. White ones, black ones. If you smoke cigars and you come to our cigar lounge, we have this high quality lighter cutter and a holder for the cigars. We got sweaters with the Valuetainment logo on it. We got mugs. We got a bunch of different things. But if you believe the future looks bright, if you follow our content and what we represent with Valuetainment, with PBD Podcast, go to vtmerch.com. And by the way, if you order right now, there's going to be a special VT gift inside just for you. So again, go to vtmerch.com, place your order, tell the world that you believe the future looks bright. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.